There've been a couple of requests for the recording, so I've just remembered to record for you guys. It's just acknowledging you at the beginning. So tonight I really wanted to really dig into something about this business that can easily get left to the side. However, it is also one of the, in fact, the most important thing that we do to have life success, really, but that is Isagenix. I just feel that Isagenix is such a merger of life and business. It's just so much one. It's such a synergy, isn't it, where you can't really separate the two. It's very much a oneness, that business and life and community and relationship and growth, the whole thing is just one. I don't know if you guys have ever logged on sorry excuse me. I don't know if you guys have ever jumped onto isagenix.com and then actually clicked on the opportunity tab, or clicked, one of the two, clicked on the opportunity tab and actually gone through the website and read what comes up when you click opportunity. I did before, but I did it again recently, and it was so beautiful to read. It's got the 12 different values that Isagenix commit to, and just revisiting them again really does touch another part of my soul. It really does just connect me back to the depth of Isagenix, and not just what we can get lost in, which can sometimes feel like the enrollments and the double PIBs and the bonuses, all of this beautiful stuff that comes in the form of money, but also on that next level and that deeper level. And that was something I really wanted to bring back to this call. So yes, I've recorded it for you guys. For those of you watching the recording, thank you for letting me know you wanted it recorded, because it is going to be just such a such a huge value. And yeah, I love that Laura, or Rochelle, that what your two favorites are in the values. And I think it's really important that everybody jumps on and looks at the Isagenix values, the 12 values on the website after this call, and just knows them, and knows that Isagenix holds them as a huge value. And you can pick your priority of what ones are the most important to you in what order, but to know that Isagenix holds all of that, it just over and over again, it reminds me that it's home, and it's the right path for me, and it's the integrity and the values that I feel truly aligned with. So I really felt called to share that with you guys. And I watched a video by an absolutely incredible leader in Isagenix that I'm going to show you, because it's not very long, but it's very impactful, and it's going to lead us on to the next segment, an area that I would love us to create. I sat down at the beach today and I just wrote out my vision for 2019. It's something that Peter Kelly has taught me a lot about scripting and creating and future pacing your next year. And so I sat down at the beach and just started to get things out of my head that were starting to build up in my head around how I would like next year to look. Some of the things I would like to not just achieve, but feel and actually and see expand. And so as I was doing that, I really felt like on this call tonight, it would be important that we dug into a little bit more about our year ahead and some of the things that we could commit to that's not only going to grow us, but it's going to grow our business. It's going to grow our relationships. It's going to grow our family. It's just going to grow so many parts of our world, and we all get to go on this journey together. So obviously, like as always, this is something that you get to choose to commit to. You get to choose it for yourself. I'm literally just here to share some, things that have worked for me in the past and things that I really believe in going forwards. And you guys just take with it and move with it as you will. So just before I share that video, I did just really want to acknowledge so many of you who have really been showing up, and it was so amazing to have our say party again on Saturday morning, which is our every single Saturday morning we're just committing an hour. You can tune in from wherever you are when you can, or you can turn up at my house, and you can be here at my house for those of you that can get to my house. And so it was lovely to have Katie and Julia at the table with me, and Nadia and Donna were tuning in as well. Tune in, Laws, tune in, babe. It feels like you're in the lounge because you can literally see the seats around the table, and we were all yarning away like we were just sitting at the table together. And it was just brilliant, and something that was hugely valuable to Katie in particular. And I know she's not on the call tonight, but she might be watching the recording. But it was just so lovely for her to get the opportunity to sit at the table, have her list of people. She had never shared Isagenix before. She's only in her second month. She's never shared what she's been doing with anyone before. So how empowering do you think it would have been for someone brand new? And you can think of somebody in your organization, in your tribe, who's never shared Isagenix before. Imagine them sitting down at a table with me or Steve or Jules or Laura or any of you guys, sitting down at a table and having that step one from the pathway to success pulled up on the page in front of her, and say, this is a skeletal structure. Make it sound like you. What would you love to say as your first ever reach out? Using this as a skeletal structure because this is the template that works. And she wrote herself a message. You know, she wrote it out. It was her. It had her vibe. And she sat there and she sent a message in an hour. She messaged 15 people in her world. 15 brand new people in her world. She got 5 replies immediately, which we got to sit there and help her with what to say. Alternatively, if that's you, just screenshot and send it through and we can help with what to do next. But 5 people that she got to start to have conversation with. 5 people, 15 people, I should say, that are now following her journey even more. It was just so valuable, and something I really wanted to share because, you know, every single moment that you can connect in with the tribe, I really urge you to do it, because it's so easy for these weeks to just fly by and fly by and fly by. And before you know it, it is the end of the year and it is January, you know, and it's just too easy for those weeks to slip by. So just know that every Saturday is going to be a say party. There's always going to be someone from the tribe on the say party. There's always going to be someone there. You can always connect in. And I'm just working on just very much simplifying your world. You know, we've got the website, which is phenomenal. It's simple. You know where to start. You know where to take your people who want to share. Very, very simple. But alongside that, I just think that when it comes to creating residual income and sharing this business as well, and creating something in this business, I think we just need a little bit more clarity around some of the numbers, some of the expectations of, if you do this, this, and this is going to grow you over a certain amount of time. This is going to see your income grow. And I stumbled upon, hi Leland, haven't seen your face for ages, mate. So good to see you. So good to see you. I stumbled across a Facebook group. I actually found them on Instagram first, and I didn't realize at the time that it had been created by a beautiful woman who many of you will know by name and some of you probably won't yet, but her name is Jen Patch, and her and her husband Jono were probably one of the first Isagenix millionaires in Australia, and her and Jono have gone on to build their organization, and now they've got Andrew Logan in their downline. They've got Andrew and Angie Logan. They've got Alicia and Lloyd Ross. They've got Kylie Donaldson in their downline, Jackson Parr in their downline. They've got Alan and Larry Hilsinger in their downline. They've got Adam and Bianca in their downline. So you could only imagine the amount of money that they're making. And so she's created a Facebook group called Redefining Network Marketing. And some of you might have heard of it and already be following it. I've seen a few of your names on the Instagram page, but I love their Instagram TV. And so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to play to you one of the videos actually Jen herself has recorded. it might align with you. It might be something that some of her coaching that you want to do, but more specifically, I just want you to hear what she's saying, because seriously, the way this woman leads, the way that Jen and Jono give back, you know, they've built charities all over the world that they ship hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Isagenix products to countries that just don't have decent nutrition. They're doing phenomenal things behind the scenes that you don't see all the glitz and glamour about. And so these are just two key leaders that if I was to want my family and my young children in the way theirs are to grow up in a house like theirs, I want to do what she does. So I wanted to share this video so that we could really just hear and learn a little bit more, and then we're going to dig into it. All right, so let me just share my screen and full screen it. Now I can, we're going full screen. I can see Jules, Steve and Amanda. So just let me know that you can hear this, guys, when I play, just that the volume's okay. Just a thumbs up, okay? All right, here we go.
So what do we mean by don't starve your business? Well, I look at our business as needing 4 essential elements from us. So we need to give it our time. We need to give it some money. We need to give it our energy, as in action and activity related to our business. And we also need to give it ourselves. And we have to be willing to step in and to risk failing. Because if we're not, then how do we learn? And how do we move forward and develop the skills and practice them if we're not willing to do that? So what I see so much is people wanting to run this business to create a 6-figure income or a multiple 6-figure income, but basically not give their business anything. So if we look at the economic data from the US, the UK, Australia and New Zealand, we know that from startup to $1 million in business on average takes 7 to 10 years. So we need to understand that businesses are such cash hungry vehicles. It's going to take 3 to 5 years of putting money in, of putting time in, of putting energy in, and throwing ourselves all into it to make that business grow. And what I see so often in network marketing is so many people wanting to have these 6-figure and multiple 6-figure incomes, but not invest anything into their business. And I think back to when I had a traditional business, I had a physiotherapy practice. It was turning over $1 million a year to make a profit of 200,000. So the expense side of it, the investment into it was 800,000 or 80%. So even at best, imagine if we flip those figures. And what if we say network marketing is so amazing that instead of having 80% expenses for a 20% profit, keeping in mind that most traditional businesses run from 2% profit up to 40 would be absolutely incredible. So let's flip that. Let's say network marketing's better than any other business model and we can have an 80% profit. Then if we want to earn a 6-figure income, if we want our business to do $100,000 in sales, then we need to invest 20,000. So what I want to ask you is, have you planned out how you're going to invest $20,000 this year into your business? Doing all the things that you need to do, learning and growing, building up the skills, getting to events, buying gifts for your downline, helping your downline to learn and grow, helping your downline to get to events, essentially building your sales team.
Awesome. Right, stop the share. It's amazing, right? To hear numbers like that. I think it really starts to put things into perspective for us as to what is wildly possible and what is so forgiving about network marketing. Being that our only overhead is our food and that we're making pretty decent money for just sharing our food, we can get very, very carried away in just it continuing to be, well, I'll just buy my nutrition, I make my money, and then I'm going to just keep sharing it. But how do we get past that level? How do we grow this into it being this sustainable business that I know all of you are so committed to? Because you're showing up, you're going to events, you're putting in the work, you're putting in the effort. What is it what's next? And one of those things that I know, and David Wood taught me from the very, very first event I ever went to, was UIA with David Wood, which we've obviously got coming up again next month here in Auckland, and an event that is a no-brainer. And when you're serious about this business, you'll be at, every single person. One thing that he has always taught from the very day dot is your business will only grow to the extent you grow yourself. And it is a quote that I have never, ever, ever, ever forgotten. And I launched into that all guns blazing straight away. I wanted to grow. I wanted to know what it meant to grow, what it meant to learn. And so, there's so many different things that you can pick. There's so many different ways in which you could go about growing yourself. It can start with podcasts. It can start with books. But what is that thing? It's so different for every person, but what is that thing that actually really shifts something within you and transforms you? And that's where personal development plays such a ginormous role in success in life, success in any business, specifically success in Isagenix. We're so gifted to have David Wood as part of our leadership team that we have UIA. But there is a whole nother level to growing ourselves. And I know a lot of you guys have been involved in Landmark, and you've been along and you've been to the forum. You may have gone on and started to get involved in that community as well, and have maybe done the advanced course, the communications course. But there are so many different platforms for growing yourself. You truly just find one that you align with. For Steve and I, the Landmark Forum was a brilliant first thing to do. It was a brilliant way for us to really be able to shift any cloud or haziness or judgment on ourselves as to who we were as people and what was possible for our lives. That was just such a solid foundation. We have gone on and we've done multiple courses with Landmark. And then last year I went to Sydney to do Tony Robbins' event, Unleash the Power Within. And yes, of course, there's an investment in that. There is always going to be an investment. And yeah, that's Laura there saying the forum changed her life. And we're going to go along to these events and we're going to have huge shifts that come about, that ripple effect. When we start with ourselves, they ripple effect. They'll ripple effect through your family. They'll ripple effect through your children, through your job, through your business. There's so much that growing ourselves ripple effects through. And that is just something that I would never, if I was to never earn a single dollar again in Isagenix, but was able to continuously grow myself and become the person I've become today and the person I've yet to grow into and become over the next few years, I would keep doing it for that reason, for the community, for the growth, for the mindset. It shifts so much in our world. And there are so many other areas of growth, but obviously that comes with an investment. And I've spent a lot of money on these courses. I've spent a lot of money on them. Have they paid me back? Tenfold. Are they continuing to pay me back? Tenfold. Landmark is probably one of the most affordable courses to start off with, which is why it was such a brilliant starting ground. But Tony Robbins was something like $1,500, $2,000, and that's still pretty small because I got a discount. But there are courses out there that are a whole lot more. There's mentorship out there. We had multiple Isagenix leaders pay to have that special training with Eric Worre after he did his GoPro Mastery event. That was upwards of $5,000 per person for 3 days coaching with him. And I think he had only say 30 or 50 people max. So it was quite intensive. And the majority of the room was Isagenix leaders. How awesome is that we've got leaders that are that committed to growth? And I know that, we're all committed to this business. We're all committed to the next level that we want to go to in our lives. And so I really wanted to focus this call around you leaving with empowerment to make the next step and the next commitment to finding a course for you that either when I say works for you, I don't mean like, oh, the dates just align and it's easy, you know, you're always going to have to work for something that you want. But I mean, works for you as in, you know, someone that's done it before, or you've looked it up online and your heart feels called to do it. That's what I mean by works for you. What I would really request and love is that you guys step into the new year with something booked, with the next thing for you to do, you know, outside of Isagenix. What are you willing to commit to for yourself that is ultimately going to grow your business? And someone that Steve and I have got a huge amount of love and respect for has been growing himself at a very fast rate and has chosen to fully immerse himself in this world. And I'm sure you guys know it's Mr. Tommy Cookie, who Steve and I actually met Sophie 8 years ago when we were backpacking in Thailand. And you guys all know Sophie. Tom is Sophie's younger brother. And Tom came over to New Zealand at the beginning of this year to go traveling. He was ready to totally shake off life that had been all consuming. And he chose to immerse himself in change, the scary world of change. So he literally packed in his job, said goodbye, packed himself a backpack, and he left and he came over here to New Zealand and he came and stayed with us. We actually traveled Asia a little bit. We traveled somewhere a little bit beforehand and came to New Zealand and stayed with us, and we dragged his little ass along to New Year kickoff, which is his first Isagenix event. You had enrolled by then. You'd been to UIA with David Wood, and then you came along to New Zealand and came and met another level of the community, right? And so we then convinced him to come to Celebration, and I think things dramatically changed for him from that moment. So Tom, I would love it if you could please jump off mute and come join us and share with the tribe a little bit about right back at the beginning there where you decided that you were going to make a change. How did that feel for you in that moment when you decided to pack it all in and leave the UK?
Thank you so much for giving me the chance to share, Corinne, because I was so back before 2017, I was in a relationship for 5 years, and for the last 2 of those, I was really getting into personal development, but I wasn't able to talk about it because it was considered quite weird and a bit odd. And that relationship eventually finished, and my sister Sophie got me in touch with Corinne and Steve, and as she said, they got me to the UIA in Birmingham in the UK, and I went, and it was just such a fantastic experience to be in a room of people who love personal development, and it was so great to be part of that, and I could talk and be expressive about personal development, and it was normal. So I enrolled in Isagenix, and then I came out to New Zealand, and it was the same again. The community, I was with Steve and Corinne. I was meeting, I think that first week I was there in New Zealand, we went to the Landmark Forum, the open evening. And again, it was a whole room of people who just wanted to grow themselves and be better. And that was so attractive for me. And then Steve and Corinne, they got me to Celebration in Brisbane. And I remember it wasn't until the Sunday, and it really clicked for me, is when I saw Josh and Sarah on stage receiving an award for being in the Start 1000 for earning a 6-figure salary. And then it just clicked for me, and it was like, this is possible. You know, it was that little voice all this time going, yeah, Tom, do you want to do this? Don't think it's possible. And then in that moment, it was just visible that you can do it. You can achieve, you know, Josh and Sarah are younger than me, and they're financially free. They've achieved my goals. So it is, in that moment, I realized it's possible. And that's when things really started to shift up a gear. And I remember traveling, I was going around, and I had a little diary, and I was just planning all the things, all the courses I wanted to go on when I got back home. and I was just reading books, and the whole time I was just thinking, how can I grow myself? How can I grow myself? And
Can
I've
I
arrived
pause?
back.
Can I pause you
Yeah,
there for a
yeah,
second,
sorry,
Tom,
yeah.
before you get into that next part? Because it was just it's so exciting where you've really taken yourself since celebration in March. It was March this year, and I know you got to really surround yourself with so much of the community, and I know a lot of people that are on this call and those that are watching the recording were really impacted by your zest and your readiness to grow, and your certainty around what you wanted to achieve, what you wanted from your life, and that you were on those tracks to going there. But really, like, before you actually had so much certainty that you knew where you were going and how you were going to go about getting there, obviously you saw Josh and Sarah, and there was that moment for you of they can, I can. And I think that's something so important as well about our community, is that we stay plugged into it, because the more we can relate to people and we can see people's growth, we know even more for ourselves, right? That it is possible for us, that it's possible for what we do. So obviously you traveled, you continued using Isagenix, you've been jumping on the team calls, and you got back to the UK and you went back to work, right? You went and you started to get back to work. And what was that transition like for you? Because I know that you went through a bit of a period where it was exciting, and then you realized a few things for yourself that you'd seen in a different way. What was that shift there like for you, and how has that really steered you on to the last couple of months of what you've thrown yourself into?
So I love construction, and it was so good to be back at work. You know, the people in the office are so friendly, and I felt from traveling, I felt completely grounded, and I just had this whole new outtake on life. And then there was some discussions about my salary. I wasn't getting what I really deserved. It did get sorted. And I remember I got my contract, and it was, I'd had all this freedom traveling, and then I got my contract, and there's like, one of the clauses was saying you will work between 8:30, 5:30, and if needed, you will work weekends, bank holidays, holidays, as and where required. And in my head, I'm thinking, I've had this taste of freedom for 6 months, and I can't suddenly be told in this one life that we have what hours I'm going to work and when I'm going to work. So from that moment, I've realized I have to do something different, and I can't be stuck in that office for the rest of my life. I can't be stuck behind a desk. It's not me. I enjoy it. I enjoy learning about construction. The people are fascinating. It teaches me some amazing technical skills and business skills, but I'm not made to be behind that desk. That's not me. And I had all the ideas about the personal development and growth I wanted to do, from traveling, and an opportunity. There was a free workshop. I went to this workshop, and then they were offering another program. It's called the Millionaire Mind Intensive, and financial freedom's my main goal, and that really resonated for me. So I booked onto that course, and that whole program's done by a chap called T. Harv Eker, wrote The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. You guys might have read it. And so I went to the Millionaire Mind Intensive, and off the back of that, there was a whole world of personal development, and it was like I'd walked into heaven. Just seeing all these courses, and I was like, oh my God, I could do this for the rest of my life, just grow myself. Can
I just interject there as well, Tom, just to put this into a little bit of, into everybody's space. So guys, right, if you've heard of T. Harv Eker, I know Leland definitely has, and he's been into his work as well. Now, somebody else that also has taken part in this training. So when Steve and I went over to Brisbane a couple of months back, and we went to Good to Great, David Wood taught us how he had gone along to a seminar like Tom had. He signed up to take part in the Millionaire Mind training, and he was trained by T. Harv Eker. He went on and he did all these courses, and T. Harv was actually was doing the training then, and he's become very, very good friends and very, very close with T. Harv Eker along the way. So to actually be hearing, Tom, that you've found something there that you've really got yourself into, that David Wood took himself through, is just like, wow, that's really huge to be on that track. So tell us a little bit then about, tell us a bit more about the story with where you've gone and what you've recently just come back from.
So yeah, off the back of the Millionaire Mind Intensive, I signed up to the Quantum Leap program. So you get a fantastic deal, and you basically get to do, there were 5 courses on this program, and the first one I had was the last weekend, and it was called Train the Trainer. And it was teaching you how to teach others. It's a simple way to put it. It was teaching you how to teach others, whatever topic you have, whatever area of your life that you want to share with others. It was teaching you how to share that and do it in an interesting way. And one of the key things we learned was it's not about you. I imagine, including myself, standing on stage is a scary thing, because we're always thinking about what others are thinking of us. But that doesn't matter. You need to be thinking about the people in the audience. You need to be thinking about them, how you can better them. So it's teaching you the key skills: how to read the audience, how to keep them interested, keeping them active. A lot of state changes, so like physical activity, high fives, stretching, just to keep the energy in the room high. And then we went into some technical stuff like how to market your topic. And on the last day, I ended up doing a 30-minute presentation in front of a couple of people. Absolutely smashed it as well, which I didn't think I could do. But the biggest moment from that weekend was I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to stand on stage. We had to do like a routine, and to get the crowd warmed up again, get them excited, get the energy in the room up again, after everyone come back from a lunch break. And for those lucky few that got to do this, they got one-to-one coached on stage by a chap called Blair Singer. And he used to be an incredible salesman, and he's now a master trainer. And he's in this world with David Wood, T. Harv Eker, training people and inspiring people. And I got one-to-one coached by him on stage in front of 420 people. And it was life transforming. He made me realize that I'm a tall guy. I'm strong. I know I am, but he opened me up, and because of some shit in my past, I'd become very reserved and timid, always holding my hands up and trying to protect myself. And he got me to find my power again, find my manpower. And it was an incredible experience. And yeah, the crowd loved it. And I went home that evening, and I was trying to get all the thoughts that he was saying down, and I just broke down. I had tears streaming down my face. And I've never had that before. Never had that before. It was, I'm fascinated by NLP, and he used a lot of that. But he just opened me up, and there were some memories which I had locked down covered in concrete and buried deep inside, and he opened them up in those few minutes, and it was just incredible. So now off the back of that, I know what I want to do, and that it's confirmed what I want to do. I want to inspire people, thousands and thousands of people, and I just want to teach them that we we have this one life and we have to do something with it. We have to do something incredible with it. A big topic for me is mindset. So I'm going to start holding talks on having the right mindset. No PowerPoints. You'll see on my Facebook and my social media now. I'm a flip chart person. So if you're wondering what that's all about, it's just to keep people interested. And if you've seen David Wood, I'm sure most of you have. You know, he does the same. He just does it all on flip chart. Keeps you all engaged.
So Tom, can I just dig into a few things you said there, because just beautiful sharing, and I can already hear a difference in the level of how you're communicating and what you're sharing and how you're translating, you know, from something that's deep in your heart, how you're actually sharing that with us as well. So just massive love to you for that. Something that I think that I would love to hear, and I think everybody on the call or watching the recording would love to hear, would be, you know, it might not be that everybody jumping on here listening now wants to be on a stage, right? Not a lot of people it might not resonate with everybody to want to stand on a stage and teach or go, you know, to that height that you want to take it. But what did you realize for yourself? And I was really starting to imagine it as you were sharing there about how you held your hands and how you held yourself. How could you relate how you're presenting on a stage to how you're presenting one-on-one yourself to somebody else? So how you might say, hold yourself, or be sharing, it might even be your isogenic story. It might even just be how you're connecting with someone for the very first time. You've touched a little bit there about you found your manpower and you were able to, you know, discover these little things for yourself. But how do you feel now presenting yourself on stage, e.g. just in front of one person, as opposed to like a ginormous room? Do you feel that could be relatable into both situations there? Does my question kind of make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to simply answer that, for me, whether it's to an audience of people, whether it's one-to-one, I can add value to people's lives in whatever format. And we think, if we look back through our stories and what our life's been like, we consider that as normal because it's our story. So we don't think anyone else is going to be inspired or interested by that because it's ours, because we've known that story all our life. So we just think it's the norm. But actually it's not. Each and every one of us have something to share and have something of value. And if we share that with other people, we can inspire them.
Hugely, that vulnerability, that realness.
I think we get a bit caught up in our own heads that we don't have anything to share and our story isn't that important, but it really is, and we have to get it out there.
And it's actually really debilitating when it is controlling your life, your thoughts of that you're not enough, or that you're not good enough, or you've not got the experience, or you've not got the knowledge, but yet your story and you and what you've experienced are enough to connect and relate to your people, right? So huge. And I can just imagine that the next step for you is another course and start on your own.
I just want to, you spoke a lot about the money and investing yourself. As Warren Buffett said, the biggest investment you can make is in yourself. And just on the financial side of it, I am broke at the moment. I think I've got like 170 quid left in my bank. I've maxed out my credit cards. I've got no equity. I've just got 107 quid left on one credit card to get me to the end of the month. And I'm still trying to get myself I'm trying to get myself to the next level of Train the Trainer, which is making the stage in India. Again, with Blair Singer, you get a ton more one-to-one coaching. And my head's going, no, Tom, you can't do this. You're in a hole. What are you doing? You're in a financial hole. If I break it down, I will be fine. I will be fine. I'm not going to go hungry. I'm not going to go homeless. I will be fine. And it's just that little voice in your head holding me back. And we have to stop asking ourselves, how much does it cost? But as you said earlier, how much will it make us in the future? And I think at the end of, if I can get myself to India, from when I came back in July to the end of December, I reckon my cost of my personal development will be about £22,000. And whilst that in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I done? I know that is going to have a huge amount of value in the future. As you say, it's going to come 10 times more.
Yeah, that tenfold pay on. Absolutely. And you're aligned with the most phenomenal health and wellness company in the world that's just launched in the UK. So you know how to bring in that secondary stream of income, and how much that ripple effects into this as well. Just being able to discover your passion and your zest, and that clearing space for you to move forwards. Isn't it just so phenomenal how you start to see as you grow? And it's something that I started to see, and I know Steve feels exactly the same. As we start to grow and we start to do more of this, Isagenix makes more and more and more sense, because it's about adding value. It's about being vulnerable for other people to know your true story. It's about having posture around who you are, where you've come from, and where you're going, because that is what connects people to people. We hear leaders talk over and over again about be relatable, stay relatable to people. But I think it's actually growing ourselves to then be relatable to people is even more important. Otherwise, we're stuck, trapped in my story's not enough, I'm not enough, I can't do this, or I can see all these other people growing. And we start to see that actually that huge change and that huge shift in people's businesses and in people's lives come because that full immersion in growing in that growth period. So it's been almost a solid year now, hasn't it, that you've year that you've been growing.
Yes.
And obviously it's not something you're ever gonna stop. But I think every master trainer teaches on that first year as you start growing yourself. It is about full immersion, isn't it? Tony Robbins talks all the time about full immersion.
It's accelerated learning, and you learn the most by just, as you say, fully immersing yourself in it. And a lot of people are telling me to slow down, and I'm overstretching myself, I'm overstretching my mind. And in that moment it's a bit of a knock. You're thinking, oh, maybe I am just going a little bit too much. And then when you think about it, you go, right, where are these people, and what are they doing? And they're not where I want to be, and they're not doing what I want to do. So why do I take their advice?
That's the one. That's literally the one. And speed is just something that you get to choose, right? We all get to choose our speed. We all get to choose where we move, what we do, what next. And it's taking that whole world of possibility into us being able to make a choice. It's just choice after choice after choice. Whether you want to run through a whole year and do all the trainings, or if you want to do a couple a year, whatever you choose, whatever you feel is working for you, it's just knowing that you've got the choice. I'm definitely with Tom in the fact that for both Steve and I, for that first year that we decided that we first knew about self-development, we went into full immersion, and we went boom, 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 one after the next, after the next, after the next. And that was just, again, a choice, a financial decision that we're still paying off now, but has expanded and grown us in phenomenal amounts. As to when I reflect upon not just who I was, but how I was, and how expressed, and how my boldness and my growth, and it's all come from just immersing myself in the next thing. And I've already got next year's mapped out in my head around all the things I want to do, and how I'm now going to budget, or how I'm going to budget from now forwards, or stretch the budget, should I say. But I think it just really Big time. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Tom, because I just really wanted to take this call to not only acknowledge you for everything that you're out there doing. Guys, if you probably are connected to Tom on Facebook, but if you're not, please do, and go and check out, like, you're doing Facebook Lives, you're talking about intermittent fasting, you're talking about your health journey, and you're talking about lifestyle, and I can already see people that are connecting with you on a whole nother level and a whole new way this time round, you know, as opposed to anything you've kind of been doing before. But thank you so much for, again, your vulnerability of just sharing parts of yourself that most people don't like to talk about, but you know that this is a safe space and a place to jump on and inspire. And I know that that means a lot to you, to be able to touch and inspire people's lives as well. So thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else you wanted to share before I closed out?
Just really quickly, is just on the leadership, we have to go first. If we look at the rat race of society and the autopilot, we can't push people out of that. We have to go first, turn around and pull them out. That's the easiest way to do it.
Love that. I'm going to be able to jump on and watch this recording again and listen to that over. So awesome. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for your time. So much.
Thank you,
we love it. You can keep, we'll be still having big conversations with you as we grow, as we go. Yeah. So guys,
Boom. Thanks, Tom. That was amazing, mate. It's like listening to a podcast. Just love chatting.
Thank you.
We chat for hours all the time. It's so empowering, and I see you in 5 years and the type of person you're going to be, and all I want to do is just hang out and talk to you and just see your journey, because it enlightens me and my life. And that's one thing I think for everyone on the call, is that, you know, we don't want to be hanging around with people that aren't going in the same journey as us, people that are going to bring us down. We want to only speak to people that are going to empower us and lighten us, because that's going to take us to the next level. So I just want to thank you, Tom, for being that friend that I can just always be empowered by.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. That really means a lot. And the chat we had the other night was just incredible. Just 40 minutes, and it really does change my way of thinking. So yeah, thank you.
So fab. Thanks so much for your sharing, Tom. And guys, I just wanted to, like I shared at the beginning, you know, with Jen Patch and what she was sharing, I will share that video into the Ignite page, because I would love you guys to really take note of those 4 key areas that how she wants you to feed your business, and those 4 key areas, and really actually taking parts of what you're making in your residual income right now, and what part of that can you set aside for your growth journey, because what you put into growing yourself is only going to keep expanding the amount of residual income that you make. Because, you know, we can listen to Tom and we can hear it's so inspiring and so empowering and motivating to move forwards in our journey, but, you know, to also hear what Tom is working through, and at the same time his finances and what he's moving towards, we can all circulate this energy together, and we can really start to feed our Isagenix business, and that growth that we get to experience will take our businesses to the next level. It will take our relationships and our lives, our connections, the people that we meet, to the whole next level as well. So it's a bit of a different call this evening, but one that I felt was really, truly necessary as we're October now. Christmas is going to come around so quickly. We'll be in the new year, and I want you guys to be moving into the new year already knowing what your year is going to look like for you. You can set out your calendar, whether you get a huge map for your, you know, a huge map calendar, for your wall, where you put in all your Isagenix events, your 4 non-negotiables, your core events. You plug into when you're going to do taster parties. You plug into when you're going to grow yourself. I think it's so important you step into the new year with intentionality. And it might sound crazy talking about it in October, but it is such a powerful, I feel like now is the time we need to be mapping out next year. And what I would love is that you guys all choose, what is that course that's going to be that you're committing to doing? When is it? What date is it? How much does it cost? So you can map out being there. Most of these companies do payment plans anyway. I've got at least 2 that I know I'm all in on. In fact, possibly 3 that I'm all in about. And I want to map them out, not just be a dream within me, but mapped out, knowing where I'm going. I love, Laura, yes, you've got 2 of them already mapped out and you know what you're working towards. So guys, hope, again, you know, this call was here to inspire you into taking action, not just be inspiring. I want this to inspire you into taking action. Please don't leave this call inspired and buzzed up and pumped up, but actually inspired to take the next step, which is the action. And that's something that I know myself and Steve and Tom and so many others in our team are fully committed to. And I might be the pain in your ass that always holds you to that account, especially if you declare something to me. I will be that person that you may hate sometimes, but I will hold you to account of doing it because I care about your results and because I care about your why and I care about your vision. So thank you all, guys, for jumping on, and I really want to honor you for the work that you've all done. I love seeing all these lists of all these things that you guys are already committed to. It's freaking epic. Love it. I don't think you guys on the recording can see the chat when it comes up, but everyone's throwing in their dates of their next event. So epic. I honor you for all the work that you've put in this week in the Blitz Week. Some of you may not have seen results that you were looking for, but I swear to you, the ripple effect that comes from this week will go on throughout this month. And let's not forget, in Australia and New Zealand, and the first week of November, we've got another whole bunch. I mean, three seasonal products that are going to be released on the same day in a month from now. So all the work you've done this week will ripple effect over the next month. And when you get to that week, there will be a lot to execute. Plus, there's going to be 3 seasonal products happening, 3 of them. And they're divine and they're all different and they're not shakes. So get excited about that. So, you know, keep that intentionality in your work, stay committed, keep to your minimums of something, you know, those things you commit to every single day. It might be, I'm going to share my story with 2 people every single day. I'm not going to overwhelm myself with it being 10 or 12 new people every day, but every single day I'm going to share my story with 2. Every single day I'm going to pour love into the Nourish page. 2 or 3 times a week I'm going to put in my calendar when I'm going to put content in the Nourish page. Just please really start to fit your commitments in every day, but make it something you can stay consistent with. So massive love to you guys once again for such a sick week. We're proud of you always. Stay in touch. If you need anything, always reach out. Dunners, I'll see you guys on Friday for our event on Saturday. Keep selling those tickets, legends. And remember, you've still got till Monday, 4 p.m. to hit those double PIBs because we've put money in the pot for the top enrollers, as you'll know. So let's do it. Let's do it. Huge love, everyone. Ciao.